A good evening to you all, and thank you very much for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a very productive Thursday. Now here's a sneak peek at our edition tonight. Private sector practitioners emphasized the need for private businesses to expand their markets and highlighted the essential role of government coordination in making the AfCFTA agenda available. While all over Ngoma district, there is still the appearance of low-quality alcohol. Experts in the medical field who specialize in internal medicine say that these alcohols should be avoided because they can be the cause of various diseases. Once again, we're glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and my name is Martina Abera. Kicking things off, President Paul Kagame has expressed his wish that Africa hold 2 permanent seats on the UN Security Council, with one belonging to the African Union and the other occupied by different African nations on a rotational basis. The Rwandan head made the remarks on X on Thursday, and the US has also lent its support to Africa having 2 seats on the council, adding that small developing island nations should also have rotational permanent seats. As the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly commences, the Kwibuka Flame of Hope now stands on the west side of the UN Gardens, a profound gift from Rwanda to the UN Arts Collection. The memorial monument honors the over 1 million lives lost in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda and serves as a powerful reminder of the shared responsibility to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again. Engraved with the message, the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, remember, unite, renew, the Kwibuka Flame stands as a testament to Rwanda's steadfast advocacy for genocide prevention. It reflects the nation's dedication to combating genocide ideology, denial, and hate speech, while fostering a global commitment to ensuring that such atrocities are never repeated. It has been noted that as leaders from across the globe gather in New York for the 79th session of the UN General Assembly, the installation of the Kwibuka Flame of Hope at the United Nations sends a significant and timely message. Ambassador Ernest Rwamucho, the permanent representative of Rwanda to the UN, reflected on the significance of the monument, stating, "The Kwibuka Flame of Hope has long been a symbol of peace, justice, and unity values that guide our healing and our commitment to unity and reconciliation." This monument holds profound meaning not only for Rwandans, but also for the global diplomatic community. It serves as a solemn reminder of the responsibility that we, as diplomats and representatives of the international community, bear in preventing atrocities. The flame urges us to act when confronted with early warning signs of mass violence to ensure that the lessons of Rwanda are not forgotten. The private sector practitioners emphasized the need for private businesses to expand their markets and highlighted the essential role of government coordination in the making of the AfCFTA agenda achievable. Adam Skizera has more on the report.
It's been 6 years since the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area, a significant milestone that aimed at eliminating barriers to trade across Africa. This initiative seeks to boost intra-Africa trade, particularly in value-added goods and services, while promoting economic integration across all sectors, designed to create a single market for goods and services, enhance competitiveness, foster industrialization, and stimulate sustainable economic growth on the continent. This AfCFTA, being the world's largest trade bloc, experts said is crucial in setting the stage for increased integration, competitiveness, economic diversification, and investment in African economies. However, there are still significant challenges that plague in the private sector phase, which hinders the implementation of the trade bloc's agenda.
The challenge that Rwandans specifically have been facing is that taking a product from here to Ghana somehow challenging, somehow expensive when it comes to costs. Yeah. So, but we're trying to see. We really appreciate what the RDB is doing, and I think time is now.
We have not faced the issue yet because we are still working hard to be able to sustain the local market. As I said, that I'm dealing with the local fish. I don't deal with the imported fish. So as we are still working hard to sustain the local market, we have not reached to the level that we can export outside, but that is our hope as well. As we grow also in the aquaculture, we would like also to import, and that's why I came to learn more about how we can export to other countries. And it will be very helpful to us, because if the prices is much more better, and then we can also get what to sell in our local market, and then also to the international market.
Players in the private sector have been encouraged to expand their markets across the continent by leveraging the trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area. This was reiterated at East African Business Council, whereas they pointed out the role of the governments in the coordination of this agenda of the ACFTA that is crucial for making it possible and liable.
Clearly, they still need to engage very aggressively and very proactively on those things that work. Take an example of the leather industry. We were told this morning at the workshop that there is rotting hides and skins in this country, in Rwanda, as well as many other regions. And there's need for 600 pairs of shoes in the region every month. Who is supplying these shoes currently? Certainly you know who is supplying them. We are all rushing to the outside markets, in Asia, in Europe, and where. Some are actually selling to us second-hand shoes. That's what is being sold to us. And we are happy to rush for those rather than concentrating on making good use of our available raw material, the hides and skins that are here, so that we produce shoes which are much needed here. So what we need to do now is to put all the key dots together. Those in charge of policy, those of us in the private sector, and those of people who can go to manufacturing. And we put the dots together so that we have rules and regulations and policies that all aim at having the market work.
The ACFTA is one of the largest free trade zones in the world that covers 54 African countries, 43 of which have already ratified the agreements, with 39 states parties officially recognized, including Rwanda. The landmark agreement signed in Kigali in March 2018 envisions a continental market of 1.2 billion people, with a combined gross domestic product of more than $3.4 trillion. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adam, for that report. Social media users and influencers in Rwanda affirm the importance of these platforms towards development and interactions, but outline the increasing cyberspace crimes due to the platform's malusers. This is as the Rwanda Investigation Bureau urges social media influencers and users to understand the regulations of using these platforms to avoid falling into crimes. Prince Manzi has more on this report.
As the technology takes stage in Rwanda's development, so is the engagement of social media use in people's lives. Some of the Rwandan social media influencers affirm that these platforms play a big role in their development, but stress on lack of awareness on their usage regulations, which prompts later to fall into cyber crimes. We are not aware of the regulations set for using these platforms. It's as if we are in a peer pressure. There should be campaigns of raising awareness on these regulations if they are there.
Inzobere mu by'imitekerereze ya muntu Mihigo Emmanuel avuga ko abantu bakoresha imbuga nkoranyambaga harimo abasariza abandi ubuzima bwabo bwite baba bakwiriye gutekereza ku ngaruka bishobora kubageraho mu minsi iri imbere
kugira ngo azabone views baba bashaka.
It is just the pressure of views, and they do not consider the aftermaths. That is why they have to consider before saying anything, mostly things that are sensitive.
agafata umwanya ibintu ari buvuge cyane cyane ibintu biri sensible biri bijyanye n'ubuzima bwe bwite.
The spokesperson of the Rwanda Investigation Bureau, Dr. Thierry Murangira, affirms that social media users and influencers are to be aware of the use regulations because they exist. You shouldn't be playing in a field and yet unaware of the regulations. Social media malusers, when it comes to misinformation, there are penalties in accordance. So is cyberbullying, divisionism. Laws are there and heavy penalties are there. Dr. Thierry Murangira urges that social media users are to be considerate on the content they publish. What you can't do in public, you shouldn't be doing it on social media. This is the real life that moved to a cyberspace. This does not mean that values are to be left behind. Social media users and influencers continue to increase daily, mainly due to the content-generated income. Benefits before values prompt some to engage in what would be viewed by many without considering the impact.
While all over Ngoma district, there is still the appearance of low-quality alcohol. Experts in the medical field who specialize in internal medicine say that these alcohols should be avoided because they can be the cause of various diseases. In Wujira Cell in Remera sector of Ngoma district, it is one of the places where the security and local authorities have recently discovered that what looks like an illegal alcohol factory in the name of Kamanzi Amon. This man, who is said to have been making these types of beers for a long time, is using mixed ingredients including tea leaves and other things that look like dirt and dried herbs. Experts in the medical field, such as Dr. Nyonzima Charles, who specializes in internal medicine, warns people who drink alcohol to avoid it because it harms the human body. The mayor of Ngoma district, Nagira Nathalie, says that the producers of these types of alcohol will not be spared and that punishments have been put in place for those who will be caught, and asks the residents to provide information in regards to where they are being sold. Moving on. Girls who have had unplanned pregnancies are monitored by the Igire Wiyubake project, which teaches them various careers that help them develop. They say that it has freed them from loneliness and developed them. Enora Gladys has more on this report.
These are careers taught in partnership with the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion and the Young Women Christian Association. Those who have been trained in this profession have reached 60, including those who have learned careers normalized to be for men traditionally. Some of the vocational students in this project include Numukobwa Dative. She says that now her life and that of her child have changed significantly.
Because the different minds and ideas and compare and to change the mind and to think how to improve yourself and others and your family. Yeah, profit for Igiro work is to saving for common, getting the credit for buying some things and to make the business like a motto and others.
The head of the Igirawiwake project that brings these girls together to teach them these professions, Rusanganwa Eugene, explains that in the 2 years since they started, some of these girls were isolated, but after coming together and learning the professions, it helped them.
Starting from the economic resources they could access and the business, different trades they are involved in, you can see there is a future for these young ladies. We also understood how the training, the education they went through in their safe spaces, supported by their mentors, helped them to change their behaviors, negative behaviors.
The head of Family Promotion and Child Rights in the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion, Aline Umutoni, suggests families with young girls who face this problem to not abandon them but to stay close with them in these matters. Parents play a big role in protecting their children, but also when they face such issues, they don't stop being their children, because that is when they need them the most.
The Wiwake activity is an organization that was made to empower young women and young teenage mothers between the age of 10 years and 24 years, where they are here to learn and also get to know more of each others. For now, they also know making arts, makeup activities for women, and also doing any other kinds of activities, the ones that we normally know that they are for men. For here, we are together with a lot of people doing tailoring, making shoes, and also making all other business activities, inclusively technological activities. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Members of the Rwanda civil society have expressed concerns about the recently passed law regulating them. They say some of its clauses should be revised or even scraped off. The story is coming from William Evans Mutabazi and Jean-Paul Maniraho.
The law regulating civil societies is now making 2 months since it was gazetted under the official government gazette of 19th July this year. Some members of the civil society, however, have continued to point out what they call unfair clauses, saying that the body in charge continues to provide them with explanations, but think the time is now to sit down and have discussions to streamline the law for the greater good, including revision of these particular unfair clauses.
We had many concerns that we raised, such as the 20% of the total budget of a project into not to exceed 20% into operations. But now we have had an understanding that it is not operations per se, but overhead costs, and we can directly charge the processes and projects related, and we are going to be discussing more as many of our colleagues get to engage and understand better.
New concepts often cause a lot of debate, with some expressing their concerns. But what I can say is that our relationship with RGB is special and unique because they are firstly our partners, but also secondly regulators. Above all, I think they are taking note of these concerns and we will do something about it. The civil society has, among other sections of the law, expressed concerns on the power RGB has over the society, saying that this might slow their operations and limit their freedom. Mr. Murwanashyaka provides more insights on this. What is not satisfactory to us is firstly saying that RGB approves our leadership. Yet, we have been having general assemblies that have these powers and responsibilities. If RGB does not, for example, approve leaders appointed by the assembly, then it might be a big challenge. Another thing is that they will instruct us to be audited, but also the burden of paying for the auditing process will be on us. Then, that we are mandated to provide RGB with our previous budget and its usage report for approval. This should be done before proceeding to the next budget and activities. We are quite a big number currently, and if all these have to provide a report for approval, it would probably take RGB a year or so before they even read them. As of now, Rwanda has over 2,400 civil society organizations operating inside the country. William Evans Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
There are residents of Gitembuzi in Rwiminazi Cell in Rwimbogo sector of Gatsibo district who say they are struggling with the lack of water in this area because they have to travel more than 4 kilometers to access it. However, last month they received a water pipeline that only worked for 2 days and stopped working since then, and now they are wondering why it stopped. Especially in this village of Gitembuzi, which seems to be on the side near the Gabiro military base and the Akagera Park, which by the looks of it is isolated from various infrastructures. So they say that for more than 15 years they have lived here, they have had no access to clean water. Nonetheless, in April 2024, a pipeline was built and was completed in August, but only worked for 2 days. It is a problem that more than 500 households are facing, which is proving to be a burden to the livelihood of the residents because they travel at least more than 4 kilometers to find water. Gasana Richard, the mayor of Gatsibo district, says that it will take at least 2 months for these residents to have proper access to water, and explained that the reason to why the pipeline worked for a short while was because it was under evaluation at the time. The project of providing clean water to the people of Gatsibo district is currently at 78%. The administration of this district says that there are projects in the works to provide clean water to the residents at a rate of 100% in the next 2 years. On behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, would like to thank you very much for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Abera and would like to wish you to have a great night.